Hey awesome people out there, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. The primary reason for making this video, as you would have guessed out from the title, is that I'm going to be making an application which is going to involve two important technologies that I've been talking about in this channel for more than 9 months. The number one technology is the Flutter. Obviously you're going to make a Flutter application, but the second important one is the Firebase. I understand from the amazing analytical skills and obviously also checking out my YouTube analytics that a lot of you people have subscribed to my channel. Maybe not a lot, maybe 30% of you people have subscribed to my channel because you watched my Flutter Firebase tutorial series. So I thought, why not make an application out of this and also learn this Flutter Firebase technology for myself and also make sure that I can expand on my skills, because I've never touched Flutter and Firebase in a massive scale. So this application is going to be doing that for us. For the next 5 days, we're going to be talking about how do you build an application from the scratch using the Flutter and the Firebase as the backend. The application is very simple. I was thinking of making an anonymous feedback type of an application. If you guys remember the Saraha application which got super viral sometime last year, I was thinking of maybe making a clone out of that, or even not a clone, maybe something very simple, stripped down version of that, and which will actually use the Firebase as the backend. It's going to be really interesting because, as I told you, it's something of some nature where you have to store a lot of data in the Firebase and retrieve a lot of data in the Firebase. We'll look at all of good practices that I follow personally, and how are you going to store this data, how are you going to read this data, and how the application will look rounded up. And as always, you're also going to be releasing this application in App Store. So we have to make sure that it's ready for consumption, production ready. So all of that is going to be discussed in this next 5 days of awesome Flutter development series. The next important thing is that you have to always lay out the plan. That is what we do in the day 0 video of any series. For this series in particular, I just sit down and wrote everything that I wanted to do for the next 5 days. I've written the first day to be completely dedicated to the UI and the UX of the application. I'm just going to design the wireframe and look at how I'm going to put the names here and there, and how I'm going to represent the widgets here and there. And once that is done, the second day is obviously going to be looking at how I'm going to set up the backend, which is the Firebase. So once the Firebase is set up for the second day, we also integrate it with our application, make sure that the connection is proper. And the third day is the main day of this series, because you're going to be talking about how is the user going to input the data and how is it going to be stored in the Firebase. And when the user's data is going to be stored in the Firebase, how is it again going to be taken back to the application and shown it back to the user. So that is the third day. And the fourth day obviously is going to make sure that the application is completely rounded up. If you know from the previous series that I've done, I always keep the main palette and the color idea to the end of the application. So we'll also look at that in the fourth day. The fourth day will also have the launcher icon for the application. And the fifth day, we'll just round the entire thing up, make sure there are no bugs, and release it in the App Store. It's going to be super interesting because, as I told you, Flutter and Firebase are very intertwined to each other. It's going to be really important to understand these two at a good scale, so that you can go out and build application with ease. It's also going to be interesting to see if this can hold up to a massive scale of users coming in and putting data. And I do not hope to have like 100,000 installs in the first week of releasing the application, but still it should handle some form of load. And also Firebase is not a free to use application. It's not a completely freemium. It is free to some extent, and after that it's going to be premium. So we're also going to be talking about that. How are you going to handle the data till that? And what if it goes up? And all of that is going to be part of this video series discussion. Do not forget to check that out, because over the next course of 5 days, it is going to be interesting to see how are we progressing this application from scratch. Because as we always do, it's going to be from scratch, bare bones, nothing is going to be there. And from there on, we're going to build up the application to where it's going to be production ready. Is it going to be possible in 5 days? I'm not sure if it's possible that we're going to complete this application in 5 days. Kudos to you guys as well, because you guys have been super awesome, following me from the right from the day one and creating this application right on the scratch with me. I'm also going to be putting this application in the GitHub repositories as usual. I'll put them in the description. I'll create a bare repository for now. You just can follow that and take any code samples you want to take from there. Alright, let me meet you in this 5 days of awesome Flutter application development series. It's going to be interesting, a lot of fun content coming up. Do not forget to check all of them out. If you're finding this content interesting, you know what, do subscribe to the channel so that you guys can notify it. So when I'm going to be releasing all of these videos, stand-ups are coming up as usual. You're going to be discussing context for the day and look out how to develop this application at the end of the part of the day. So all of that is very interesting for me, and also hope it's interesting for you guys as well. Let me meet you in that video. It's going to be starting from tomorrow. We're going to start off the 5-day continuous app development, and it's going to be super fun. Until then, Bharat, peace out. Have a super awesome day.